So it's been a very busy weekend for some of these politicians seated on this table on Saturday. They're in Kakamega for the BBI. But during that time, there were supposed to be two parallel meetings. Of course, ODM and pro-BBI individuals had theirs in one stadium. And on this other side, or was what was supposed to be, one ANC leader, Musalia Mudavadi, and Ford Kenya leader, Moses Wetangula, ended up absconding their event to join this other event. We'll get into that in just a little bit. Senator Ledama, were you at Kakamega this weekend?
No, unfortunately, I wasn't. This was a meeting for the Western people.
Why were you not there?
Because two reasons. Reason number one, I attended the burial of the wife of the late, the Deputy Governor of Samburu. I went there to condole with the family and also be able to show them that in the entire Maasai community, we all support each other. Number two, there'll be a time that the BBI will come to Narok. And I think I'd rather be able to articulate the issues of Narok better, of the issue of the Maasai nation better in terms of moving forward. When we talk about inclusivity, I've been in the forefront saying we are preaching water and drinking wine. If you look at what the president did, even in the recent appointments, there were 3 CAS, or what are they called? CAS. Who were appointed from the Kikuyu community. We cannot be continuing. We had and I actually tweeted and I said, listen, if we're talking about BBI and we're talking about inclusivity, we should start practicing it.
But you're not a very strong believer of BBI yourself.
Well, it's a conversation. I'm not a strong believer of the proposal as it is. But I believe that if we're serious enough, we, the people of the Maasai Nation, will sit together and discuss it. As a matter of fact, from the February 1st to the 9th, we will buy a lot of airtime on radio. We'll be able to go point by point on the 9 issues, articulating them to the Maasai people so that we can be able to come. So that by the time the BBI comes to Maasai land, we can say, okay, here is a proposal which I think is horrible. This is what we want in terms of BBI, in terms of inclusivity, because I believe that BBI is good. But the proposal as it is right now, is not good.
All right.
So this is what we want to do. So asking me whether I was in Western, I would rather concentrate my time in Maasai land so that I can be able to help my people understand what is this proposal and is it good for them or not.
Sifuna, endorsing of the BBI, that was the main goal over the weekend. Did you and your team meet it, pro-BBI supporters?
That was not the goal, to endorse the BBI. It was an opportunity for the people of Western Kenya to also put forth what they consider priority areas for them as a region. I like what my brother said because he has understood what this process is about. It is about, if you see the Gazette notice that was put out by the president saying it's a validation of the report. So when he says that he's not satisfied with the things that are on the table, I myself was in Narok just 2 weeks ago, and they were saying that the issues of land injustice, for instance, have not been given prominence. And for them as a people of the Ma region, these are things that are important to them. That's exactly what we were in Western to do. So when we were in Western, for instance, we had, there was a small change of format from the Kisii meeting. That there was, in Kisii, for instance, there was plenary, then the meeting moved into the stadium. Now, the plenary in Western had been done earlier. We went to Nzoia Guest House a week, I think, a few days before the rally in Kakamega. So all the leaders of Western Kenya were present on that particular day. Issues were articulated. I was happy that when the resolutions were being read in the stadium, many of the things that were discussed, for instance, the idea of having a representative of teachers as being one of the commissioners at TSC was actually picked from the Nzoia Guest House meeting when one of the representatives of the teachers spoke. I was happy that it found favor amongst the other leaders and it was put forward as one of the things that the people of Western are going to discuss.
So the other question is, Sifuna, then how is it that you're doing this second phase of BBI?
Yes.
You were in Kakamega for the first time.
I was in Kakamega, yes.
But how are you doing it when there is no official document in Kiswahili or in vernacular languages to help Kenyans understand this process, which already is dividing you guys as leaders?
I don't think that providing a vernacular document or one in Kiswahili would help, or the absence of it can stop a conversation. Zinzi, there is also the Bible has been translated into all languages.
Exactly, translated.
But there is still sin, and there is still people who have to go to church every Sunday. It's not that after you have read the Bible, you sit at home. You can go to church because you need to commune with other people and to get perspective from other people.
BBI is
Number
for
two,
the people.
let me finish. Number two, this excuse of not having sufficient copies on the ground is being bandied around. Yet when the CS spoke in Bungoma, and I was there, he said that the problem is that the government printer is moving quite slowly in printing those booklets. It is not anticipated, even from your perspective, that the government is supposed to print 45 million copies for all the Kenyans. I don't think that's what you're saying. Number two, we are in the age of technology. When this report was released, it was made available in soft copy. My grandmother, Zinzi, is on WhatsApp. She has that version.
The issue of soft copies is that there are those that are fake also on the internet.
No.
But when you have a
the official document is available in soft copy. The government has said that through the CS Wamalwa, I'm quoting him verbatim, that they are going to speed up production of these booklets. We have even offered a suggestion to them that they could talk to the newspapers and also just serialize the thing in the newspapers, and it would have sufficient circulation. But what we are saying is, that should not stop a conversation. In fact, when we were going to school, some of us grew up in very poor backgrounds. When we were going to school in Kitinda Primary, in Kandui constituency, we were sharing textbooks, Zinzi. We would sit, there would be only one guy with a textbook, and you would sit around the table, 5 of you read. So there's a few copies that have been supplied. They are sufficient to be able to anchor a conversation. We are not saying that it is not important. We are just saying that the conversation cannot stop. One of the things that we have to realize is that we have to have an eye on the next election cycle. Many of the proposals in the BBI are going to touch on how we conduct elections in 2022. If indeed we are going to put in place those changes need to come in good time. For us, even as leaders of political parties, we have been told that our nomination lists or our candidates have to accord with the 2/3 gender rule. We need to start planning for those things.
Yes.
So these things need to be put in place so that time is not necessarily on our side.
Well, June, July is what President Uhuru Kenyatta had put it on.
Absolutely.
Senator Linturi, let me come to you. Are there not better ways for us to go about BBI, and even just whether you are endorsing it or not, are there not better ways to effectively go about it than campaigns, which is already setting us in a campaign 2 years ahead of the elections?
Some time back, I said that, and I want to repeat, that Kenyans have been taken for granted for a very, very, very long time. And whatever is happening here is Vionja, Makamani, and Vitimbi. And these people should come out very clearly and tell this country that we are trying to set a stage, organize ourselves for political mobilization towards ensuring that a few or whatever candidates that they have have ground or have a end start towards the 2022 elections. So what I saw in Bukungu is a team that I would describe, for lack of better ones, or a team of hypocrites camouflaged in a way purporting to represent or speak on behalf of the people of Kenya, yet their sole interest is to deceive them in agreeing to what they already predetermined options or objectives are. Why I see this is because, as far as I would imagine that whatever Sifuna is trying to say, and I don't take whatever he says lightly, because there are things that we'll discuss here as we walk away and then find them happening because they're always ahead. Even a time when before the report was out, at least he had some ideas on what was expected, and I realized this team as an opportunity either to discuss with them because they have better structures than what we have on our side. So
is that a compliment?
Is the compliment? Yeah, let me tell you, I'm telling you, they are better. You are better organized because at least
say that to me several.
Yes. So what is happening is that, and why I didn't doubt whether there is any truth in this, is because the BBI is not contested. Even the imagination that they had, anybody would be against BBI.
They have a script.
Somebody has said nobody is opposed to the BBI. And immediately the BBI report was on before, 2 days before actually, the BBI was out. I was on this show where I sent whatever it is, because Article 255 of the Constitution of Kenya provides for a mechanism of amending the Constitution.
Senator, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
How will expanding the executive through this BBI process help end Kenya's post-election violence?
You see, to be honest, you know, the issues that, or what brings about election violence in this country is not because Sifuna has a problem with Linturi or Lendama.
So
it's a problem is a problem of the senior leaders in this country running for president failing to accept the mandate of the people. The results. If the 2 or 3, 4 candidates, and we must also agree, the problem of this country has been out of resource emanating from a long, either it cannot be undisputed, our problem between a few families in this country. And this is what causes problems.
So creating new seats is also not the solution?
Creating seats, let me tell you why creating seats probably will achieve this end of inclusivity, in my view. Although the aspect of inclusivity is also addressed by the current constitution, because when the constitution talks about appointments in terms of gender balance, regional, and the sort, is so that the appointing authority is able to look at areas, western, central, or whatever it is, decide those things and those positions and share them accordingly. But why am I pro-BBI fellow? And this is selfish. I must tell, when I want to be selfish, I will say it's selfish. I'm a pro-BBI because BBI is saying that the next cabinet will come from the elected leaders. And this is why I am with it 100%, and nobody can stop me from it. And that's my position. Why is because the reason is when we talk. Let me explain my position.
He never lets us finish.
Let me explain why. It's because the mind that these people have in terms of inclusivity is because, you know, there is nexus. There is a connection between a leader that has direct mandate from the people and the person that is just appointed from nowhere and is meant and given power to control resources, to design the policy of this country. And when these people do not have a power or authority to question the president. And that is why we're in a mess. Because these people can never question. Whatever they are told is what they must do.
Zinzi, first of all, I must object. I want to make it very clear here that as a party, ODM does not need to hide under any agenda to mobilize political support for 2022. Immediately, we went into the Kibra election. We made it clear that we were going to form new partnerships, that we were going to discard the old partnerships. We didn't hide behind anything. Yeah. So it is not true that we are hiding behind this particular process. Number 2, it is not correct. These people, when you just say we are not opposed to BBI, is not enough. We listen to your other words and the actions that you are taking. Number 1, they have told us that BBI ni ukora. They say it every time. This BBI has a hidden agenda. It's not about uniting the country. It's about 2022.
Isn't
and
it
then
not the case,
after just a minute, let me finish. After they have said all that, then they come and say no one is opposed to BBI. We are not fools, because you cannot say all these derogatory things about a particular process and then you come and say nobody is opposed to it. Number 2, even if you are not opposed to it, even if the whole country is in agreement that this is a good thing, that does not preclude Kenyans from talking. It is a constitutional requirement for us to undertake public participation. Kenyans need to be informed and to have a discussion. Even this discussion here, Zinzi, there's nobody who said the citizen cannot hold, or that it is wrong or right to hold debates, but you do it anyway. Number 3, the reason why you asked a question about whether spreading around power is going to end ethnic antagonism and create whatever it is you want to call it. First of all, I have given you an example of how powerful this presidency is. That we have invested in institutions such as Parliament, and the law says that Parliament is the budget-making institution of the country. But the president can stand up today, Zinzi, and find money to build 2 fresh factories in central Kenya. That I read the newspaper the other day, and there's an advertisement that had been put there by the Kenya National Highways Authority to build 500 kilometers of road in central Kenya, the so-called Mau Mau roads. I am telling you that this position, people can see that there is direct connection between, is the person from your region in power? And is the region going to benefit? He says here that the law requires that whoever is president looks to Western, and my senator here has complained already. And it has been a constant complaint that when we see gazette notices coming out of appointments, they are skewed towards one region.
You know,
so what we are saying is this, is it possible for us to have a system in place that does not depend on who is in power, for the people of central Kenya to get roads, for the people of the coast to be able to get appointments into government, for Maasais to be able to get into government.
You know, Sifuna,
and this is the discussion we're having, because when people feel that the only way, this one seat is life and death, if we don't get it, our people are out in the cold in 5 years. You are able to spread this thing around so that we build institutions and offices that can help everyone to grow.
All right, Senator Ledama, before we take a break.
I have a serious problem with the assertion by my colleague here that he's only pro-BBI because of his own selfish interest. Because he knows that people who will be in government will come from parliament. My biggest problem I have, and this is why I'm never silent.
Not from the Senate.
No. This is why I'm never silent. Because I believe that in life, you have a choice. You either choose to be in the shallow end of the ocean, or you go deep into the ocean and be able to confront situation.
Right.
What is happening in Kenya? I haven't been quiet, and Sifuna has rightly put it. Every appointment is skewed towards Mount Kenya region. You know, and I've told off the president on that. I mean, if we're talking about inclusivity, you know, then when we're having this discussion about BBI, in terms of regional balance, in terms of people, there's no reason as to why we should not have a cabinet that reflects the face of the 44 or 45, you know, Kenyan lead. You know, it's a constitutional requirement. Yeah. But this is something that I have a problem with, even with the recent appointment. Like right now, if you look at the Maasais, if we are all to speak for ourselves, because I hear this debate that we want BBI because we want to end tribalism. Let us start ending it right now. But
Senator, even though we put a CS from Maasai land what makes you think that then the Maasai people will benefit? And
no, that is not a long time. You're getting it wrong. It has got to be. It has got to be a country of inclusivity. Everybody has got to be there.
Now, Senator, so just 1 minute. 1 minute in the BBI report itself. The recommendation is actually there.
All right.
And this is why you need to support
it. The recommendation is there. My problem is
the president, when he is appointing, he should be able to say X number of CSs are from this particular region, PSs from this particular region. The recommendation is there.
I don't think we should make it a recommendation. We should make it, it should not be may, it should be shall. You know,
it is in
because
the report.
The problem is this, in the report now, and I don't have a problem with it. But let me ask you a question. Do you think as a leader elected by the Maasai people to represent their interest, I will be silent when I see every position held by a Maasai? Whether it was NTSC, a Maasai is removed and a Kikuyu is put in. Whether it is KPC, a Maasai is not given an opportunity, or a Turkana is not given an opportunity, or you know, a Teso is not given an opportunity. Now we have GDC, okay? It is being headed by a Maasai. I'm sure they are qualified Maasais and they have a lot of energy and interest, but they will not be given an opportunity. It will be another Kikuyu who is given that opportunity.
All right.
Even, let me finish. This is very painful, because even the AG, and I asked the president, I requested him, I beseeched him, I told him, please do not appoint an Auditor General from the Kikuyu nation, because there are other Kenyans who deserve to be able to support this BBI. Okay. So the reason why sometimes I'm a little bit apprehensive or I appear to be against the BBI is because I do not want this culture of preaching water and drinking wine.
Right, gentlemen.
It is not going to help.
Okay.
And the president ought to start making sure that if he wants Kenya to move in the right direction, he should start making sure that when he is dividing the national cake, he's got every single ethnic group on the table and saying the only way we'll achieve inclusivity is if we do not have any Teso who can become a cabinet secretary, we might have a Mijikenda, we might have a
Senator,
Maasai.
this morning you're confirming you are for BBI.
He is for BBI.
Let me tell you, I'm for BBI, but it must reflect the interests of the Maasai. I am against the proposal as it is right now.
Which proposal?
The current thing which was put on the table. I'm completely against that.